Hello everybody, this is Goji73, and this is a Patreon supporter video. Today's Patreon supporter is dedicated to my first Patreon supporter, and that user is none other than Sousa Productions. Now for those of you who don't know, Sousa Productions specializes in stop-motion animation as well as 3D editing software such as MMD, or Miku Miku Dance for short, and is also a part-time gamer on his channel, primarily focused on either Pokemon or the Ultraman Fighting Evolution series. Now, I also wanted to give this little shout out to him because, for those of you who didn't know, Sousa Productions has actually helped me with some of my projects in the past, the likes of which include some of the souls in the Gathering of the Kings short. He actually contributed some monsters to be used as souls, the likes of which include Evolu, Ligatron, and Dinosaur. And he even provided some special effects work for Gathering of the Kings, the likes of which include the time portal at the top, as well as the little pillar that Goldrass steps into. He actually created some effects for me to use when I was to begin work on that special. And in the event that I can ever pick back up on that, that's what I will be using too. So I wanted to say thank you to him for doing that. So him and I sort of have a little history together. Now for those of you who also didn't know, when me, Deadzilla, Ultraman Kronos, and Nick Jones were on YouTube and we were just starting off our own shtick, Sousa Productions, then at the time I believe known as Poppin' Pix, I could be wrong on that, but if I am, I apologize. But at the time, he was also one of the very first stop-motion animators at the time who was up and coming like the rest of us. That's why I mentioned his stop-motion animation work, because quite a few of the stuff he made really stood out in the past. I'm grateful that he's a patron of mine because there are quite a few favorite videos that he's made that I actually really enjoy, the likes of which include his Gauss vs. Red King homage to my very first episode of Godzilla and His Amazing Friends, as well as a few Monsters Arts and Revoltech animations such as Godzilla vs. Baragon and Godzilla vs. Mugadender. Another video that he made that I like was that he actually adapted the Kaiju War Chronicles battle Godzilla vs. Gamera, which is very impressive because that's usually like one of the major Godzilla fan fictions that you usually run into in the Godzilla fan base. So I thought it was really impressive that he had managed to do an adaptation of that. And apart from that, another favorite video that he's made was the MMD animation known as Godzilla's Bad Day, which is a really funny and cute video focusing on Godzilla trying to get some sleep only to be constantly interrupted, which I believe is the first major North American animation involving Godzilla with the software, which I think is pretty impressive. As you can see, he has a pretty impressive resume when it comes to Godzilla fan works, and if you want to help support him, he too has a Patreon account, so you can also support him there, or you can also subscribe to him on YouTube. And I'm sure all of you will be impressed by what he has to do, because I know I am. And so that's just about it for a Patreon supporter showcase. And again, I'd like to say thank you, Sousa Productions, for being my first ever patron to help me on my new quest. That's it for today's Patreon supporter video. If you like what you see and if you like what I make, you can help me by supporting me on Patreon and possibly get a video of your own, or any other prizes you can possibly get by supporting me on Patreon, or you can support me on other sites such as here on YouTube, as well as follow me on Facebook and Twitter for anything else I may make in the future. And so that's it. I'll see you all next time.